Hello there, Rabbi.
Good evening, Joe.
Waiting for a phone call?
I'm actually trying to get some change so that I can make a phone call. You know, when you finally find a payphone, you never have uh, enough drachmas or centavos to actually make the call.
And that's true of technology, isn't it? We've left behind pay phone booths. Technology is slowly taking over our lives. Now that we all have cell phones, we don't need pay phones. And I have many, many friends who have dropped their landlines because they have cell phones and they never use them. Is technology taking over our lives? Is it making us too unself-reliant?
I think you're bringing up a really neat subject that we're watching unfolding, and that is depending on technology to solve problems that technology shouldn't be solving. We have to use the word self-reliant. Well, I don't think I want to move to Montana or anywhere along the border and chop my own wood and trap the beaver and eat. That's not what I particularly want to do. So self-reliant, we may want to redefine or take a look at what does it mean to be able to do something or depend on yourself and not constantly turn to technology to solve problems that either we as human beings created, or we want life to be better or easier. We just never do the benefit versus the burden, Joe. We don't weigh what is technology doing to us.
And I have a friend who drives a Porsche. Wish I could afford to drive a car like that, but it's a stick manual transmission. And he offered my wife an opportunity to take it around the block. And of course, my wife couldn't drive a stick. And thinking on it, I probably would be willing to bet you that 9 out of any 10 high school students with their driver's license would not be able to work a clutch to save their lives. And that's considered an improvement.
Well, if you've ever been on the Beltway in 66, because I had a 5-speed, I had a Saab for many years, and to drive the Beltway with a stick, I thought I was going to need knee surgery. And the automatic transmission was a gift. It allowed me to be on the Beltway because otherwise it was impossible to navigate the constant pressure on the leg and driving. So it did make the traffic not more bearable, doable. So, but you know what the best anti-theft device is on a car? You just said it, Joe. A manual transmission.
But so where's we draw the line? When is technology our enemy versus being our aid?
I think we have to do a benefit versus a burden. I think we have to look and say, what is it solving, but what are the negatives? We don't do that. And that irks me. You pick up the newspaper, magazines, you go online, and everyone's raving about the new technology and what it will do for us. Rather than saying, if we want to produce solar panels, so eventually have solar energy, it takes oil, it takes fossil fuels to fuel the factories in China that build solar panels. Now, that's not to say solar panels are bad, but until we get there, we need fossil fuels. The same thing with windmills, with the vanes on windmills, that there's a whole graveyard in the desert of the blades of windmills, and nobody knows what to do with them. They're burying them. And again, instead of saying, I found a solution, everything's fine, we want to look and say, what are the benefits? What are the burdens? What does it mean now that I don't have to carry a nickel to make a phone call? I now have my phone. Well, you sent me a text this morning and I didn't pick it up. And your thought was, well, he has his phone with him. Why didn't he answer my text? Why didn't he have it? And all of a sudden, I just didn't, and you're off on some tangent because we're always accessible if we have our phones. And you can click on Find My. So I know where anyone in the family is at any given moment. And I can track everybody. And those aren't the disks. That's just Find My on the iPhone. And it's not the same as the tags that if you want to use, you can find your luggage, your glasses. And then we discover stalkers are using them. And when they came out, everyone raved how wonderful. And there was a still, small, quiet voice screaming in the wilderness that they're going to be used for nefarious reasons. And they were, but we should pay attention to every voice. And I think that's how we should approach technology in medicine. All the promises about transplants, about therapies, there's a lot going on, but very rarely do I hear weighing the pros and the cons. And television, how often do you pay attention to the little white letters at the bottom that tell you the side effects of that great miracle drug that will clear your skin, make you better looking, grow hair? But we don't do that. Our newspapers, the internet, everything throws stuff at us, Joe, that sliced white bread, Wonder Bread helps build strong bodies. No, it doesn't. Never did. It was an advertising gimmick, but we bought into it because there wasn't a counterpoint. That is my point, Joe. You need to analyze, now that we've lost the phone booth and we have mobile phones. I carry one, carry my iPhone. It's terrific. Okay. Now, what are the burdens? What are the downside of carrying a device so that my wife knows where I am at any given moment? She doesn't even have to call me. It's kind of neat. I think it's a neat thing to know. In fact, I'm going to add you to Find My so that I know where you are at any given moment. I often wonder, but that's my point, that too much technology, too much. And then we get waves on the other side that it's all bad and you shouldn't do anything. That's not helpful either.
Well, I know one thing I'm always okay with, whether I call you on the cell phone or I call you on a payphone, and I always keep a couple quarters in my pocket just in case I have to. I always look forward to talking to you, Rabbi. Thank you so much. And I look forward to the next phone call, even if I don't read your texts right away.
What do you mean quarters? The last time I used a payphone, it was a nickel.